Coming up on Nittany Game Week.
Dude, we got to figure it out. Just haven't been able to.
An improbable losing streak reaches 6 games. The opportunity that evades the Nittany Lions after the last-minute touchdown by the Hoosiers.
He was cool. He was calm. He was collected, and he was leading us.
Freshman quarterback Ethan Grunkemeyer finds his rhythm in the second half during his first home start. What PSU does that allows him to find receivers down the field.
I got a lot of respect for that program. That was a great place to play. Their fans were awesome.
And he's a Pennsylvania guy that's tasted a lot of defeat in Happy Valley. Why Curt Cignetti heaps all kinds of praise on Penn State a few days after his program's big win. This is Nittany Game Week. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nittany Game Week. I'm Todd Sadowski alongside former Nittany Lions coaches Jay Paterno and Tom Bradley. Been a long time since we've seen a Penn State team lose 6 in a row, and I'm not sure we've ever seen a season with so many close but crushing setbacks, and we add Indiana to the growing list.
So many one-score losses and so many chances to get over the hump. And that, but every once in a while you tip your hat to the other guy. The guy made an unbelievable play to win the game. And, you hope to get over the hump this week.
Well, you do. And, a long time ago you learned you don't really win the game, you lose the games. And that's one of the things you got to remember, that there's only a few plays that matter in the whole game. When you go back and you start looking at those games, you'll go up. 3 or 4 plays make the difference in the whole game.
And they have just had a hard time finishing. We take a slightly different approach this week as we discuss the positives and negatives on both sides of the ball in our opening drive. Let's start with Military Appreciation Day. Sophomore linebacker Dakari Nelson with the honor brings the stars and stripes on the field with him. The positives on defense: even though he was able to make some big completions under duress, they did harass Hoosiers quarterback Fernando Mendoza, and for most of the game, they limit the big plays, Jay.
Did a great job limiting the big plays. They got after Mendoza, got him uncomfortable, got him to move off his spot. They only gave up one play of 20 yards or more until they got to the last drive when they had a couple.
And once again, that's what I'm saying. They came at the wrong time.
Statistically, it's not Mendoza's best game. 19 of 30, 218 yards, only 1 TD pass and an interception. He was sacked 3 times and hurried a bunch more. But everything is magnified in close games. Last season, overtime win at USC, close ones at Wisconsin and Minnesota go in Penn State's favor. It's just not happening in 2025. The Nittany Lions had the second-ranked team in the country, wobbly and on the ropes. Once again, the defense cannot deliver the knockout.
Yeah, if this was a bullpen, you'd want to overhaul it, because if you look in the fourth quarter of these games, they had the lead against Oregon in overtime. They gave that up. They had the lead against Northwestern in the fourth quarter, 11 plays, 75-yard drive. Iowa, Indiana, both had a chance to close those games out with the defense and could not get it done.
Incredibly entertaining games to any college football fan not emotionally invested. For PSU players, coaches, and fans that are invested, it's incredibly frustrating. The smallest details matter, Tom, in these kinds of games. A veteran team is making some costly mistakes. Start at the Indiana touchdown drive, sack on the first play, and instead of getting back and setting up, they spend some extra time celebrating. Indiana rushes to the line, second and long, some of the defense out of position. It's not the reason they lose, but an example of losing focus. You got to take care of the small things.
There's the old saying, it's told you take care of the little things and the big things take care of themselves. And you don't have time. You do your celebrating in the locker room after the game.
Well, the guys continue to fight hard, and in this instance, you have to give credit to Indiana for making the plays when they had to have them. We're going to show you 2 views of the game-winning score. Behind Fernando Mendoza as he is pressured, throws it up. Omar Cooper with the grab. And then we'll show it from the end zone as the ref is right there and signals for the touchdown. It is just more heartbreak for the blue and white.
I've been there since our first loss, and then it just stacked on. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the solution. Obviously, the team, we can't figure it out. I'm not sure. But like you said, we've been close, but we just haven't been able to finish. So, yes, I've definitely been in that mindset of like, dude, we got to figure it out. Just haven't been able to.
Well, every defeat is hard to digest. This was their last chance at taking out a highly ranked opponent.
On the offensive side of the ball, they really rallied to score 17 points to get the lead in the second half. Off a turnover helped, but they were good on third down conversions. Been one of their better games for big plays with 6 plays of 20 yards or more. The third downs were manageable, under 6 yards average on third down. Did a great job, Tom, in managing those situations.
Yeah, they did everything they did to win the game, and they just didn't make it happen. Once again, you go to any game that's a close game, there's going to be 1 or 2 plays that make the difference. That's what it was on this one.
Some of the big plays you mentioned happened in the passing game. Coach Smith has been adamant that they need to throw the ball vertically, Jay, and Ethan Grunkemeyer was able to connect down the field.
Well, having watched Terry's offenses when he was at Gateway, he likes to throw the ball down the field early and often, but they did some really good things with Grunkemeyer. You saw him evolve and get better as the game went on, and they were able to attack some areas. We're going to talk more specifically about that in the scouting report.
Trevor Pena finishes with 99 receiving yards on 6 catches, over 15 yards a completion. Ethan Grunkemeyer completes 22 of 31 for 219 against one of the top defenses in the country.
Grunk played really good today. He was hitting throws and taking what was given to him and, making plays. And once we get rolling, it's hard to stop. So it was cool. He was calm, he was collected, and, he was leading us. And we had trust in him, faith in him. So, we stood behind him, and he did the best he could.
The Grunkemeyer is growing up fast with 3 consecutive starts against ranked opponents, including the number 1 and 2 teams in the country in back-to-back weeks. Now, if you look at the team totals, remarkably similar offensive numbers for Penn State and Indiana. The difference comes in the final few minutes of the game. Nittany Lions could not kill all of the clock when they had the lead or come up with a game-tying field goal in the final minute when they trailed. It's nice to see Nick Singleton with that 59-yard burst. Other than that, the run game is inconsistent. Pass protection somewhat leaky and obvious passing situations. And, of course, 2 turnovers that lead to 10 points for the Hoosiers.
No question. Indiana came in plus 12 in turnover margin, and they got 10 points off that, which ends up being the difference in the game, and ultimately adds up to that 6th consecutive loss. Yeah,
it gets that 6 losses in a row. Coach Smith wondering when his team is going to catch a good break and finally put an end to this slide.
We're all wanting the plays to go our way. We're talking blades of grass, right? Back to the Oregon game. And we're just trying to create, maybe we get the call for the blade of grass. Just trying to make sure my guys know I'm fighting every way of the storm for them guys. And, just trying to turn the tide.
Very close to getting a top 5 win in only his 3rd game as the interim head coach. Up next, the Spartans in East Lansing, a chance to end this 6-game slide. Our coaches show us what PSU needs to do to be aware of in our scouting report. More Nittany Game Week is on the way.
These are more than just trucks. Every shipment moved by the R&R Express family of companies contributes to the Excel Foundation for Autism Research and Inclusion, funding safe spaces like the sensory room at Penn State's Beaver Stadium and a special event sensory trailer, and giving thousands that were unheard a voice.
Now is the time to amplify non-speaking voices and drive meaningful change.
These trucks are powered by purpose.
Every week, our groundskeepers are meticulously mowing, painting, repairing any damage from the previous game in preparation for Saturday. Our contributions to the team are providing safe playing surfaces for the athletes to showcase their abilities on. There's a lot of history here. Being able to be a part of that has been incredibly special for me.
Nittany Game Week is brought to you by West Shore Home, official partner of Penn State Football.
Welcome back to Nittany Game Week. It's been 20-plus years since the program has experienced a losing streak this long. Before moving forward to examine their next opponent, Michigan State, Coach Bradley, Coach Paterno, might be a good idea to look inward for a quick self-scout to try and fix some of the problems plaguing the team.
Well, we're going to talk about some of the things that they did well last week against Indiana, and Grunkemeyer really made some evolution in terms of his progress. And let's talk about what they did in terms of pass distribution. If you look at Ohio State, a lot of short passes behind the line of scrimmage. You can see where the X's are for the green and the red where the ball was thrown. And then you take a look at Indiana, you're going to notice between the two hash marks, you're going to see there was more intermediate and deeper throws between the hash marks than they had against Ohio State. And that's one of the reasons I think they had some more success. You match personnel all the time. Penn State's done a 6 offensive lineman set a bunch. They set Indiana up. They have not done a lot of these play action where the inside breaking route is what they're going to go to. So these linebackers, when they come in here, Tom, they're stepping up, and then, as you know, they got to try and find the guys when the ball gets pulled and thrown.
Yeah, they do. It's not difficult. The play action fake gets them, and then they're back there looking with their head on a swivel trying to find it. And usually it turns into a pretty good play. Yeah,
and you look at they got some chunk plays on their scoring drives with that one. Now, let's talk about what we're playing for this week, okay? The Land Grant Trophy. This thing's a mess. You got Sparty here. You got the Nittany Lion here. You got a picture from Michigan State's campus. You got Old Main. You got another thing here. And then you got some random football thing on top of that thing. Nobody even knows what that's doing there. But, you know, at the end of the day, you want to win the thing, bring it home, and display it. Let's talk about Michigan State's defense. The linebacker, Jordan Hall, is active. They've got some experience up front with number 91. The corners are tall and experienced, but pass rush has been a problem, which is welcome news for Grunkemeyer. They're going to be aggressive on the outside with their corners because they are big and experienced big and tall out there. And then they're going to use their up front to kind of push. And then these linebackers are very active, and they are their leading tackles. They're all at the linebacker spot, Tom. And you know how important that is.
It sure is. And one of the things you mentioned is they're going to leave their corners alone, and you have got to take advantage of that. You've got to be able to make a big play out there to get them out of that, because they're going to pack the box, and that's going to mess with your run game. And
they will be handsy and try and force you outside, and that'll happen. Now, we talk about the third downs. They've struggled on third down stopping people, but if you get in the long yardage third downs, they're going to be real aggressive with the blitzes and disguising stuff. Here, they're going to bring this guy off the edge. They're going to set the quarterback up to think that he's got something to the front side, and then roll over here to a roll strong, which helps with the trips. They drop him out of here. They do some twists inside with these guys, and they end up with 4 under 3 deep, even though it looks like they're coming on the blitz, Tom. You know that's tricky when they do that.
Well, there's going to be a lot of disguise in this game to try to confuse the quarterback and make him think what he's going to do with that ball. Is he getting it out quick? Is he going to be able to have time to get rid of it? There's a whole bunch of things. They're very good at disguising those blitzes.
Especially coming off an open week. Now, let's turn around and talk about them offensively. They made a change at quarterback. Number 11 is in as opposed to Aiden Childs. Nick Marsh is a big-time receiver for them. Their receiving core is very good. The tight ends are good matchup problems. Offensive line, a lot of injuries, 8 different combinations in 9 games starting. Now, against Minnesota, played really, really well. They put 467 yards of offense up on the Gophers, just couldn't pull out the win. But in the first half, they got sacked 5 times. Here they move the pocket now to get him in the second half to get him going. Tom, I would expect, given Penn State's pass rush last week, they'll do that.
That pocket's going to be moved because like you mentioned earlier, it's almost a whole new offensive line. So they're going to move that pocket and take some of those inside rushes away.
When you talk about with the tight ends, they are matchup problems. They're tall. They're going to if they get into, I think you'll see them throw the ball quite a bunch because they're not great running the football, and they'll attack Penn State. But they're going to try and do some double moves here. They get the tight end, who is really kind of a nifty. He turns out, gets the linebacker to bite, sneaks in behind him. And given Penn State's play at linebacker this year, I would anticipate they'll attack that part of the zone.
I can tell you're an offensive guy because you said nifty. Like, if you were a defensive guy, you go, that's not nifty.
You'd say sneaky or dirty or illegal.
Sneaky, but it's in the word.
Michigan State also has the top punter in the country, averaging 49.7 per punt. So there may not be easy field position, short fields for Penn State, but they're going to have to take advantage of the chances they get, Todd.
Thank you, coaches. Of course, last Saturday's win is the first ever for Indiana at Beaver Stadium, and their head coach, Curt Cignetti, is a Pennsylvania guy. He experienced plenty of defeats in Happy Valley, combined as a player at West Virginia, assistant coach with Pitt and Temple. A few days after the win, he was very complimentary of the environment and the opponent.
Let me tell you, Penn State got players. I give them a lot of credit. I got a lot of respect for that program. That was a great place to play. Their fans were awesome. I mean, they had it cranked up, and we found a way to flip the switch and get the momentum back and make the plays, and meant a lot.
Coach Cignetti admits he took a lot of long rides home after games from State College, and they weren't very happy ones. Now his team is undefeated at 10-0. Up next, our Impact interview with one of the leading college football writers in the country, Ralph Russo of The Athletic. We discuss how all the vacancies around the country will affect which coaches end up with which programs. Nittany Game Week returns after this.
This journey started on these very grounds, in these stands, with this community. West Shore Home was proudly made right here in Pennsylvania. We took a passion, a drive, and built a company that believes in hard work and success, just like this football team. Remember going to your first game? The roar of the crowd? The feeling of being part of something bigger? That's a feeling you never forget.
Bring that same feeling to your home with an extra $750 off, in addition to our current offer, by visiting westshorehome.com/PSU.
Want to learn to ski? The Pocono Mountains is the place to be. With lessons for every age, you'll be skiing or snowboarding in no time. Learning is fun and the views are beautiful. Choose from 6 amazing ski areas. Learn more at PoconoSki.com.
Impact Interview is sponsored by the Pocono Mountains, where small-town charm meets big adventures. Book your trip today by visiting PoconoMountains.com.
We are back on Nittany Game Week. It's time for our Impact interview, and our guest is one of the leading authorities in college football, longtime writer nationally for the Associated Press. You can now see his work in The Athletic and New York Times. Ralph Russo, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it, man.
Oh, anytime. Thank you very much.
We were just discussing there's a lot to talk about these days. You know, it's the turkey hasn't even been served on Thanksgiving, and it feels like a quarter of the jobs are already open in the SEC, among other prominent openings that we are well aware of, certainly in State College. Can you recall a more volatile job market at this point in the season, Ralph? And are there any names? Of course, everybody wants to hear the names, but are there any that fans haven't really heard, or that you've kind of some rumblings that might pop up here in the next couple of weeks to a month?
Yeah, it is interesting. I don't think I was talking to an AD earlier this morning, and we kind of came to the conclusion that you're either worried that you're either looking for a coach, worried that your coach might leave, or worried that if somebody else's coach leaves, then you will have to worry about your coach leaving. It is just expansive throughout all of college football, where everybody seems to be looking at the board, looking at what's available. Again, some very big jobs, starting with Penn State, LSU, Florida, and assuming that there will be a domino effect here. So once this job is filled, oh no, that would open up another big job. And I think one of the things that's also kind of interesting about this is, you know, to a certain degree down in the SEC country, it seems like the fulcrum is Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, and whether he might go to Florida or whether he might go to LSU. But if he doesn't, what do those schools do? And I think that is probably a similar situation now with Penn State. There's a lot of speculation about obviously Matt Rule, the relationship with Pat Kraft and Nebraska. Matt signs an extension with Nebraska, and then it's sort of like, okay, where does Penn State go now? So I think that there is a level of expectation of what fans hope will happen with their open job, and it might not match the reality of who's available and who really wants to move at a time where a lot of schools pay big money.
Well, certainly the Big Ten this year just shifting to the on-the-field stuff, which is nice. The Big Ten has 6 quarterbacks among the top 15 rated passers in the country. Is this the deepest set of quarterbacks we've seen in the Big Ten in a while?
It is pretty good, and and not just where they're ranked in terms of their college stats. I think one of the things the Big Ten, and somebody's going to correct me here if I'm wrong, has maybe lacked a little bit of is some of that NFL talent at quarterback. Certainly Ohio State, and J.J. McCarthy came through. Obviously, Penn State thought it had that in Drew Aller, and then the unfortunate injury there. It creates a higher ceiling, I think, for a lot of the teams in the league.
Ralph, you've covered the sport for decades. When November rolls around, what are some of the places that you always look forward to going for a game?
Oh, so I'm not going to be patronizing. I'm going to sound patronizing here, but without question, Beaver Stadium in Happy Valley is always toward the top of the list when you can get a late season, frankly, anytime, really. I covered the Oregon game, the whiteout, and it was, I know it didn't work out very well for Penn State, but it is literally one of the best atmospheres in all of sports, not just college sports, but all of sports. And it's an event that I tell people who are maybe entering into the college sports space, maybe are not as familiar with college sports, that should be part of, if you want to get an idea of what a big football Saturday is, Happy Valley is a good place to start. Almost all of the big SEC venues are certainly thrilling. Alabama does a great job. Obviously, LSU's special in as far as sort of like the blend of football and food that you get in a place like Louisiana on game day. So I could go on and on. The list is endless, really.
Great insight from Ralph Russo. All of our Impact interviews can be found on our website, nittany-game-week.com, along with other web-exclusive content like our Nittany Connect network of businesses. Don't go anywhere. Still to come, Tom hands out his scrap metal to a guy that's been thrown into the deep end of the pool and is starting to find his rhythm. We're heading into the final minutes on Nittany Game Week.
The Pocono Beverage Trail, your personal guide to the best breweries, wineries, and distilleries in the Pocono Mountains.
Like award-winning Three Hammers Winery.
Our mobile passport crafts your individual journey. Discover a new location each time you visit, with seasonal varieties to choose from.
Like unique brews from Raleigh Creek Brewing Company.
It offers deals and discounts to redeem during your visit. So why wait? Craft your adventure at PoconoBeverageTrail.com.
These are more than just trucks. Every shipment moved by the R&R Express family of companies contributes to the Excel Foundation for Autism Research and Inclusion, funding safe spaces like the sensory room at Penn State's Beaver Stadium and a special events sensory trailer, and giving thousands that were unheard a voice.
Now is the time to amplify non-speaking voices and drive meaningful change.
These trucks are powered by purpose.
Scrap Metal is sponsored by Burke & Bradley Orthopedics. Located in Pittsburgh, Burke & Bradley Orthopedics is a comprehensive sports medicine practice, providing patients with the most current and innovative approaches in diagnosis and treatment.
Time to hand out this week's Scrap Metal. And Tom, you're going with a guy that had to be ready when his number was called.
I don't usually give it to a quarterback, but the backup quarterback role is not an easy one. And for redshirt freshman Ethan Greckenmeyer, the offense falls on his shoulders as soon as senior Drew Aller was hurt against Northwestern. His first 3 starts were at Iowa at night, difficult place to play, and then in the horseshoe against the number 1 team in the country, Ohio State, another difficult place to play. His first home start was Indiana, the second-ranked team in the nation, and he rallied his team to score 17 straight points to overcome a 13-point deficit. Gronk is showing great progress and is trying to pick up his first win as a starter at Michigan State.
It's trivia time. Last week's question, Penn State has won 25 of 27 previous games against Indiana. 2 of them played in NFL stadiums. Name the stadiums: the RCA Dome in 2000, FedEx Field in 2010. Our winner was Rich Rohrbach of Bellefonte, Pennsylvania. This week's question, Penn State and Michigan State established the land-grant trophy in 1993. Who was the first Michigan State coach to win the land-grant trophy game?
We are bringing PSU fans and alumni together with our Nittany Connect network at nittany-game-week.com, partnering with businesses that support our show and letting our viewers know about their great products and professional services. Make sure to check out nittany-game-week.com for all of our web exclusive content, airtimes for all of our network of stations, previous episodes and interviews. The Nittany Game Week podcast all can be found at one convenient location. That would be nittany-game-week.com. And while you are visiting the website, make sure to submit your tailgating and your game picks, because we always finish with some pride picks. For Jay and Tom, I'm Todd. Thanks so much for watching Nittany Game Week. We'll see you next time.
Every week, our groundskeepers are meticulously mowing, painting, repairing any damage from the previous game in preparation for Saturday. Our contributions to the team are providing safe playing surfaces for the athletes to showcase their abilities on. There's a lot of history here. Being able to be a part of that has been incredibly special for me.